Texas court has blocked the execution of death row inmate Robert Roberson. This morning, the state's highest criminal court decided to send his case back to trial court 1 week before his scheduled execution date. Roberson was convicted of capital murder in 2003 for the death of his 2-year-old daughter, who was diagnosed at the time with shaken baby syndrome. His attorneys argue the science behind that conviction has since been debunked.
In the Court of Criminal Appeals filing released today, the court cited its decision last year to overturn a shaken baby conviction out of Dallas. It showed the medical and legal understanding of that diagnosis has evolved over these last several decades. Joining us today to talk about this development is Democratic State Representative John Bucy, who represents parts of Austin. Representative, welcome and thanks for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
So you actually had some time to spend yesterday with Robert Roberson himself. Tell me about that visit and your reaction to this latest development from the court.
This was my second time to get to go visit with Robert at the Polinsky unit. We were with a bipartisan delegation of lawmakers that just wanted to continue to talk to him and see how he's doing and see what's happening with him and his case. And I want to tell you, both times that I have visited with Robert, we are always surprised by his optimism, his faith, and his continued hope that justice will be served in this case.
And what is your reaction to what the court shared today?
Look, I think we're just so relieved that the court has put a pause button on his execution, that's not going to move forward next week, and that we're going to get another look. We've been asking for people to take another look at this case. I think with the lawmakers and the experts and the people that have looked at this case and really gotten into it, we know there are way too many questions still to be answered. And so the court made the right decision. I'm really thankful that they took the time and looked past any noise that's been saying otherwise and looked at the facts and said, we need to take another look and do the right thing for justice, for Robert, for Nikki, and for all Texans.
You mentioned some of the noise there. We know in spite of a lot of support to take a pause, there was a push by some folks to keep moving forward and to keep this execution date set. What would you say to those folks today?
Look, I hope that they will also take a pause and look at the facts. Some of the accusations that have been made up in the last week or so that we've seen online were simply being done to try to make people more comfortable with moving forward with this execution next week. It was disgusting, some of the stuff we've seen said, and now I'm thankful that with this pause, I hope everyone takes another look and not just look at the case from 23 years ago. The whole point of this is how the science has evolved and how new evidence has come forward since that original case.
Do you believe at all that this case reflects some maybe larger problems in how Texas handles death penalty cases?
Look, I think it definitely, we need to take a look and make sure we're always getting it right if we're going to ever take the stance of executing a Texan. But most importantly, what I'm thankful for is the Court of Criminal Appeals stepped in. And so we'll see how this plays out, but maybe the system is going to work here. And we're thankful that they took this pause.
Are there any reforms that you think Texas should consider when it comes to re-examining scientific evidence?
Absolutely. We need to make sure that all cases under that the junk science law is utilized and that all cases get another look that need to. Robert's been fighting for this for years since the 2013 junk science law was passed. It was passed for cases like Robert's to go take another look. And so if there's anybody else, and we're talking about a death row case, but there's lots of people in prison, they all deserve another look. And it doesn't harm the system to let them have that other look. They're still in prison. They're not out on the streets. They are being, detained while also getting a fair shot at justice, and that needs to happen.
Well, State Representative John Bucy, we appreciate you again taking time today to talk about this. Certainly a big day. We have more coverage available on our website. Thanks again for being with us.
Thank you for having me and for talking about Robert's case.